We're here every Sunday morning from 10 until 11. As you know, Tuesday is Election Day, and we've got about, what, 25 or so people running for city council. We've got about 7 of them here this morning. We'll give you a chance to meet them, hear what they have to say, and maybe even ask a few questions of these council candidates. And we'll start off the morning by giving them each a minute to tell you a little bit about themselves. Let's start off with Pat Fisher. Pat, welcome.
Thank you, Lincoln. My name is Pat Fisher. I'm running for city council. I was formerly president of the Pleasant Ridge Community Council, been involved in lots of boards and commissions. In Pleasant Ridge, we cut crime so much that police runs were down 50 to 70% a month. No homicides in Pleasant Ridge since December of '03 based upon our pinpoint policing program. A little bit different. We move police where we think a crime would occur before it occurs. In that way, try to prevent the crime from ever occurring in the first place. Been very successful. Want to bring it to the whole city. East Orange, New Jersey did it. They cut violent crime by 50% in 1 year. Thanks,
all right,
Lincoln.
thank you.
Pat
all right,
Fisher.
Let's move along to Michael Patton. Michael?
Yes. I'm running because I'm not satisfied with how our city government is working. We have been losing population since 1960 and jobs are leaving. And our city council goes and, locks up people for possession of small amounts of marijuana. They talk about a $100 million streetcar line that goes 2 miles out and 2 miles back. Special tax deals and breaks and giveaways to a favored few. I think the people and the industry and business want a fair deal from government, and I want to make that happen.
All right, Wendell Young.
Excuse me. Thank you, Lincoln, for having this forum. I think it's a really great thing that you're doing. My name is Wendell Young. I'm a Cincinnati native. I've grown up here, went to school here, and of course, I just love my city. I'm running because I want to preserve neighborhoods that are doing really well. I want to bring back the ones that are not. I'm very concerned about neighborhood development. I'm very concerned about bringing jobs and prosperity to Cincinnati. I'm also, obviously, being a retired police officer, concerned about crime. And so what I want to do is continue to work and encourage citizen police initiatives that also work to reduce crime. So I believe that neighborhoods that are vibrant with great business districts are the best deterrent to crime. People who are involved with their police department are another deterrent to crime. It all works well to lift all the boats and bring the economic prosperity and bring the jobs that we so desperately need.
All right, let's go to George Zamari.
Zamri.
Zamri. I always get that name, Zamri.
It's okay. I'm new to the field, so just getting people to say my name properly and correctly is a huge accomplishment in itself. I have been involved in community organizations for the last 10 years. I've been, since moving to Cincinnati, I've been the former chairperson of the Urbanists as well as the board president of the No Theater located in Over the Rhine. My goal and my belief is that the city has been losing its population about a third since the 1970s. A lot of the problems that we've had have been premised upon the fact that we have lost population, whether it be the rising taxes, the shrinking tax base, or the increase in crime. We need to focus on repopulating the city, and I do believe that by getting elected to council, we can start turning the process around. And I believe I have the initiatives in plan that we can do it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Justin Jeffrey. Oh, that's right. Go ahead.
Okay.
We'll take you anyway, Jim.
My name is Justin Jeffrey. I grew up in Cincinnati, and I'm very disappointed in the direction that our city has gone for too long. We've seen inverted priorities. We've seen handouts for the favored few and the big campaign contributors, and I think that we need to put people first. We need to make sure that we're investing in our neighborhoods, that we're investing in people. We need jobs, not jails, and we need education and job training instead of probation and laws that take away opportunities for people. So I think we need to get our priorities straight, get back to the basics, and make sure that we allow people to live up to their full potential.
All right, you can go to Brian. You can pass it along to Brian Gary. Brian?
Sure. First thing I want to ask our audience is, what kind of message do you want to send to your children? I want to send a message to my children that they are valuable. And I want to ask you, what kind of message do you think it sends to our city's children when we close their pools and their recreation centers, their alternatives to street life? And what kind of message does it send when we are attempting to close and propose to close health clinics for 40,000 people in our city? I want to ask, what should we say to the children who are sick that need to go to a doctor when we've closed their clinics? And I'd like to say that we need to build not just buildings, but we need to build people's lives. We need to have more economic development for our youth. And for more information, go to my website at briangary.com. And for ways to support, click Donate.
All right, let's move to Joan Kaup. Joan, welcome.
Thank you very much, Lincoln, for having us. Good morning. I am a charter candidate running for Cincinnati City Council because I share the vision for a clean and green, safe, inclusive, creative, and profitable city. And when I talk profitable, I am talking about building the net worth of our city, building the general funds, because obviously the more money we have in general funds, the more services we can provide for all of our residents in all of our neighborhoods. And 3 ideas that I would like to share are just building the tax base. The more people who live and work in the city, the more taxes in the general funds. The second one is tourism. Tourism dollars are unencumbered dollars and a great way to build your revenues. And the third one is to market our expertise. There are many departments that are very entrepreneurial within City Hall and are recognized for their expertise and can sell that to municipalities beyond Cincinnati.
All right, you've heard from the candidates that we have here. Now we'll give you a chance to give us a call at 513-381-3838. That's 513-381-3838. Give us a call. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back. I've got a few questions for the candidates. We'll hear their answers and we'll take your calls also. 513-381-3838. We'll take a quick break and we'll come right back to Lincoln We're Live right here on It's 38. So stick around and we'll hear more from the candidates for City Council. Back in a moment. Oh, now he counts down. And we're back live. Lincoln We're Live is the program. We're talking to the council candidates. 7 of the candidates running for city council. Election day is Tuesday. Make sure you get out there and vote. The phone number, well, every line is busy, so whenever there's a line available, 513-381-3838. That's the number to call if you want to ask a question. I've got one question, and whoever wants to answer, feel free to answer. What are we going to do? Everybody says, well, we can stop the crime rate. What can you do other than walking up to someone, taking the gun out of their hand, and preventing them from killing someone? What can we do to cut down on crime in Cincinnati? I think Wendell's hand was up first. Go ahead. Whoever's got the mic, go ahead.
Well, I think one of the things we have to do, and you've heard a little bit from Pat about the target policing, and New York's been effective with that with their CompStat program, and we have a unit in Cincinnati, the Vortex program, that's been going in over the Rhine, being very successful in that. We need to increase that reach, have the sheriffs continue to patrol, but we also have to look at building communities, building neighborhoods, and that's more than just putting police on the street. We have to bring people to live back in those neighborhoods. We need to make them areas where people want to have an opportunity to buy new homes at market rate, affordable housing, have people live there. We need to get people to move back to the city. We do that, communities are in there, then we're able to...
Time is up.
Thank you.
Wendell, let's hear your response.
I shouldn't have let him have the mic. He said everything I wanted to say. However, I do think that people need to know there's no such thing as too many police, but there is a problem with how many can we afford. The reality is criminals are far more worried about an involved citizenry than they are about the number of police officers out there trying to arrest them. So it is very important to reinvest in neighborhoods, to bring back business districts, to give people reason to have pride in their neighborhoods and pride in where they live. Because when they do that, they won't tolerate crime. They won't tolerate criminal activity. And there's a reason that people behave in one part of the city one way and another part of the city another way. The same people...
What is that reason? What's that reason?
Because the same people who come into neighborhoods that they perceive to be willing to accept their behavior will go to other neighborhoods and behave themselves because they perceive that the people there won't put up with it. Case in point.
I don't know if we have enough time for the case in point.
Let me just say, the same criminals who act up in parts of Cincinnati go to Newport on the Levee and you don't hear a peep out of them.
All right.
Okay.
Pat Fisher, I think your hand was up, and then we'll move to the bottom row.
Yeah, the pinpoint policing I mentioned before is computerized data mining. You pick locations where crime will occur, and you put police there first.
So you can predict where the crime is going to happen.
Absolutely. It's
Okay.
predictive behavior modeling, and it works. And it's very efficient. You don't have to add too many more police, just some more technical people, and you move police in a real-time presence. The other thing we did is we worked with the apartment owners where there were major problems in certain apartments. We had them put undercover police in the empty apartment buildings, few arrests and convictions. Those apartments are now worth more to the owners. It works, and it worked in Pleasant Ridge. It can work the whole city.
All right. Who's down on the bottom row? Let's go with Joan.
Thank you. A three-way partnership is a really effective way of addressing the crime. Let me build on what Wendell says. The communities where the businesses, the residents, and the police officers have a partnership, they are moving the needle faster than those neighborhoods who are not quite working together. Avondale has a program called Ceasefire, which is very effective and an amazing group of people. In Over the Rhine, the program is called the Drug and Gun Elimination Program. Again, it's a three-way partnership. The SERVE program, or the Cincinnati Initiative to Reduce Violence, is the framework of a three-way partnership that can be implemented throughout the city. So we have a lot of the programs in place. It's just a matter of embracing them and getting them involved.
All right. Justin, you had a...
Yeah. We need to create jobs and opportunities for people. Michael Earl Patton and I worked on a neighborhood rescue plan that you can find at my website, justinjeffrey.com. And we've laid out strategies to help people in communities and community councils rebuild their neighborhoods. We need neighborhood police. We need to build the relationship and the trust with our police officers because our people are the eyes and ears of the police department. And we have to make sure that we're not subsidizing poverty wages with big corporate giveaways to companies like Convergys that don't pay their janitors fair wages. What kind of message does it send when kids see their parents or their neighbors and their aunts and uncles not making good wages and they're working hard?
All right, thanks. And that Convergys, you make a good point there. I just read in the paper the other day where they're expanding their Indian corporation over there, hiring more people from overseas and laying off here in America and here in the city. Go ahead, Brian.
Many people talk about crime and address it after it happens. But crime is a symptom. Many times, crime is a symptom of a deeper cause, a deeper disease called poverty. And if we want to address crime before it happens, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. There are very few people who are in home ownership positions with good-paying jobs that are engaging in street crimes. So good-paying jobs, affordable housing, affordable health care, and good education go much further to prevent crime and solve our crime problem than any of the solutions that occur after the person has already committed the crime.
All right. Michael?
Yes, I just want to add to what Justin was saying. It's not just about the number of police you have driving around in squad cars. You know, the police need to get out and work with the people in the neighborhood. I don't care if they walk or ride bicycles or ride horses, but they need to go out and work with the neighborhood because it's the people in the community who know where the crime is happening.
You say get them out of the car.
Get them out of the car. Also, we seem to assume that it's just a number of police in the squad cars. How come no one's ever asking, maybe we should add some more detectives to really investigate crimes, you know, and go after the people who have been shot or the armed robbers. That's what you need detectives for.
All right, let's go to some of the callers. 513-381-3838. Let's go to Eric. Eric, good morning. You're on Lincoln We're Live. How are you? Eric. Okay, no Eric. Let's go to Mary. Mary.
Hi, how are you this morning?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Okay. I want to know if they can eliminate the drug activity. That's the only way the crime's going to get rid of.
So you say eliminate drugs. How can they do that? Who wants to tackle that one? Mary says drugs are the problem in the community. If we can eliminate drugs, that'll solve the problems. Let's go to Brian.
I would say first we need to provide our youth with alternatives to street life. Again, keeping our pools open. Instead of keeping our pools open last year, they funded a $30 million parking garage. Now, to keep the Over the Rhine pool open last year would have only been about $5,000. Instead of funding this streetcar for $100 million, we can put people to work. We got 20,000 people out of work. And instead of moving the Fountain Square furniture around for $42 million, we could have helped fund health cares to keep our children healthy.
Pat?
Yeah, I'm on the Hamilton County Mental Health and Recovery Services Board. We need more funding of addiction services and mental health. Those are important because those services cost 1/5 to 1/3 of jailing somebody. We have too many people in jail who are really suffering from mental health diseases and addiction diseases. If we can have more people served with rehabilitation and treatment, we can cut crime and cut down on the cost of the criminal justice system, both.
One final answer for this question, Joan. You wanted to
Thank
chime
you.
in on that?
I spend a lot of time in Over the Rhine, and I live on Prospect Hill, but the scariest night that I've had in Over the Rhine in the last year was attending a safety sector meeting where the businesses and the police officers and the residents come together. And in this particular evening, there were two grandmas that just were flying into the face of this police officer, wanting the cops to stop bugging the young men that are on the corner. These are my grandsons. They are entrepreneurs. This is their business.
Wow.
This is how they're paying my rent. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if the family breaks down, the cops cannot do it alone. It was, without a doubt, the scariest evening I've ever had in the hood.
Wow, the cops should have arrested the grandmothers then. Let's go to Melody. Melody, you have a question?
Yes, I do. With these new, well, like I'm voting all new people in for city council because the ones that are there, they're not doing an effective job. I want to know from the guys that are sitting on the panel right now, if you guys are all voted in, and as of right now you guys pretty much have my vote, will you implement a plan to get these guys off the streets? There's no need to overcrowd our jails with petty crime. Can you guys implement a plan to have them clean up neighborhoods? They're less likely to destroy what they work hard to build. So can you guys get them out there, get them cleaning these streets, rehabbing these old houses, doing things like that that are effective for the community and effective for them?
Can you hear? You can't hear? Huh. Okay, they're not able to hear. She wants to know what type of plan you can come up with to stop putting everybody in jail and put them to work instead of jail.
Extremely good question. And that is why I support the concept of community economic development. And I own a company called Green City EcoStruction where we do just that. We fix neighborhoods and we employ people who are felons. We employ ex-offenders. And so the guys on the street corner can then get marketable skills. They get off the corner. They're working hard during the day. They're making money. They're tired when they go home. And they're not going out and getting into trouble. So community economic development, the community is bettered and people's lives are bettered at the same time, building not just buildings but also people's lives.
Wendell.
Okay, I agree with what we've heard so far, but another thing that I think is terribly important is we need to find a way to re-involve many families in the education of their children. One of the things I'm finding is that oftentimes there are jobs available, but we don't have a qualified workforce. We don't have people with the skills or with the education to take advantage of the jobs that are being offered. And too many young people are making the decision not to become educated. They're not going to school, or they're going to school and not taking advantage of what's being offered for them. And within the family, there seems to be less and less support for the people we're talking about who are opting for street crime. There seems to be less and less support for keeping them in school and getting them educated. So it's a bigger problem than just investing in neighborhoods. It's a bigger problem than just having police officers. It is a problem of doing all those things and at the same time finding ways to encourage families to keep their children in school so that when these opportunities come, it's not a matter of good luck, it's a matter of planning, and it's a matter of education meeting opportunity. We've got to prepare people to take advantage of jobs.
All right, now let me ask one question here. You know, we've got issue 27 on the ballot. I just want to go around the horn here to hear, Wendell, I think we know how you feel about issue 27. Yeah. But, I mean, it's a county-wide issue, but most of the people who will be locked up in this jail will probably be city residents. Let's face it. They'll be from the city. Want to know, is it too expensive? Do we actually need it, or do we need to do some other alternative things? Do we just need a jail, find a better way to finance it, or what? Who wants to tackle? We'll go with you first, Justin, then we'll go to Michael.
Yes, we don't need a new jail. We need a better set of priorities. Instead of locking people up, we need to create job opportunities. Michael Patton and my neighborhood rescue plan does that. If you go to justinjeffrey.com, we need to create opportunities and stop locking up people from being homeless, people for being mentally ill, and people for having drug addiction. We need treatment programs that are community-based, and you shouldn't have to go to jail as a prerequisite to get the kind of treatment that we're talking about. My neighborhood rescue plan helps take the abandoned buildings and people who don't have job skills and jobs, and it puts them together, and it creates opportunities for people to rebuild their neighborhoods and have pride of ownership.
Okay. All right, let's go to Michael.
Yes, I've been working against proposal to build a new jail since it was first proposed last year, and it came back from the dead. I thought it was defeated before. As Justin said, there's too many people in jail for crimes that, because they don't have money. Cincinnati Enquirer found that it was such things like jaywalking or drunkenness or panhandling. And now Cincinnati City Council added the marijuana ordinance as a reason to send people to jail. Most people who are in jail, study has found, are there because they cannot afford the bail. They're just waiting for the court date. Yes, treatment is good, but we need to have a commitment that we're actually going to do it. The so-called comprehensive safety plan doesn't really commit.
Let's hear from Pat Fisher. How do you feel about it, Pat? And then
I'm going to vote for it. I think the part of it involving the drug treatment is very important. If you've ever been to a drug court graduation, and I've been to many, sometimes even the people graduating, because they're being diverted out of the criminal justice system, and this issue would help pay for that, they're hugging the police officer who arrested them, who got them into this program. And this is the first time our county has focused on providing that treatment while someone is in jail. And let's say they stole some money to help with their drug problem. That drug charge is being knocked off, they're getting treatment, and that is something our city needs and our county needs. We've got 30 to 40% of the people in there suffering from those diseases. We need to pass at least that part of it. I know it's part of a whole comprehensive program, but that is very important for our community.
Pass it down to Wendell, and then we'll go to Joan and Brian. Go ahead, Wendell.
Well, obviously I support it. Like you said, people know where I stand on this. But it's not a matter of people having to go to jail before they get treatment. The reality is some people do go to jail. The question is, what do we do with them? What we've done in the past has not worked. We've warehoused people. We've taken them in one way. We've put them out worse than they were. Now we have an opportunity to work with people when they get there, to find out why they're there, to get them the treatment they need, to put them in the programs they need to have. We have an opportunity now to take people and turn their lives around, cut our recidivism rate, talk about public safety issues. What is the price you put on saving even one human being, on turning even one life around? I'm fixing it so that one less person wants to hurt a police officer, rob somebody, break in a house. This is an opportunity to do more for our county with a jail that we absolutely have to have than we've ever done before.
Let's go to George.
Well, frankly, I think the sheriff has come forward and says he needs a new plan. He needs a new jail. And from that standpoint, I do believe that Sheriff Lease is the #1 county official on the subject. He needs a new jail. We need to look at that and then look at what the county administration has done over the last few years. They initially put on the ballot a $100-some million plan that was voted down. And then they come back with one that's 3 times more. I think that the plan needs to be revised to better deal with the issues. But the drug treatment is critical. We have to keep that in, and we need to build a jail.
Okay. Joan, you have some comments?
I support issue 27 and the comprehensive safety plan, not because I'm interested in warehousing people. I voted against it the last time, but because of the component of changing lives, of working with people to teach them health and respect and responsibility, and that is invaluable.
I think, Brian, I don't think we heard from you yet.
You don't need more jails to change people's lives. To change people's lives, we can invest money in treatment. We can invest money in reducing recidivism. We can invest money in reentry programs. You don't need more jail space. There's no correlation between safety, increasing safety, and increasing jail beds. We need jobs. We need better education. We need affordable housing. We need affordable health care. For ways to support me, Brian Gary, vote Brian Gary. Visit briangary.com and click donate.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Let's go back to the telephones. I think Eric. Eric, are you there? Eric. We're having an issue with this guy, Eric. Let's go to whoever's on line 3. Hello, how you doing? Dolores?
Hello,
Yes.
this is Annette.
Annette, go ahead. You have a question.
Yes, I was calling in regards about the question that the gentleman, about the gentleman saying that the police need to get out the cruise and walk more.
Yes.
It would be nice if they could get out and go behind the apartment buildings and find out what's going on with crime. A lot of crime go on back there.
Well, yeah, I guess it's all the, if they're walking the neighborhoods, they'll walk around the corners and the backs of buildings and see what's going on. But like you say, you got to get them out of the cruisers when possible, walking the streets, meeting people. Wendell, yet?
Yeah, I was a police officer, and the caller is correct. When you walk a beat, there are many things you can do that you can't do from a car. Obviously, putting people on the street is more expensive than having them in cars. But you do. You walk behind buildings, you walk inside buildings. People who own apartment buildings invite you in. They want you to come in, go through their properties. People come out and they tell you things. But more importantly, you can see and hear more because you're slowed down a lot more. So you're available to see more, you're available to do more. Walking is a fantastic way to police. It's also the most expensive way. And so it becomes a matter of what can we afford. But I'm a big advocate of officers walking beats whenever available.
Now let me ask George this. The sheriff wants the jail. The FOP says they don't want it. So, I mean, is it the fact that they're going to add more county sheriffs in the, in the city limits, or what? What do you think that is?
I can't really speak to fully as to why the FOP wants it and the sheriff doesn't. All I know is the sheriff is the largest county person, and some people have said it's an inner rivalry going on there. Well, we need to cut through those and do what's best for the voters and the citizens of Cincinnati and for the county. That's what the representatives and that's what all of us are running for, because we want to represent the people. And I believe that, their disagreement, we need to work through the hash through it and get the plan in place.
All right, let's go to B. B.
Yeah.
You have a question?
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Let's see. I know one of the guys on the show said something about the, having something for the young kids when they graduate and what have you. But I know for CPS, they've been, their rates have been going up in the last few years. And I wanted to know what can they look forward to? Because I see a lot of them out here that really, have high school diplomas, but that, doesn't quite have the skills to pass the SATs and the ACTs. What can the city offer them as far as employment?
Okay, we get your question.
Okay.
Thanks for your call. All right, we'll go with Brian, then Pat, and then Michael, and then we'll go around the horn on this. Everybody wants to answer this question. We'll start with you, Brian.
B, I just wanted to share with you that I was present at the Peace Bowl when there was a killing. I was several feet away when Ernest Creers was shot by Dante Allen. And I got to know the families afterward. And I got to know that Dante, it was difficult for him to read and write. He was in the 11th grade. He dropped out from Woodward. Ernest Creers also dropped out from Woodward. They were both 19 years old. They both had children, babies, who were 2 months old. And I started thinking about how are these children, Dante Allen's child is going to grow up when Dante's in prison. Ernest Creers has passed away. How are the children going to be supported? How are we as a community going to make sure that these children's lives are successful? And so the answer is we have to invest, make sure that every single CPS graduate can go to college, make sure that they have good jobs ahead of them, make sure that they have that hope, and provide that hope by investing our dollars in our children.
All right, Pat, you have a...
We need to be marching on CPS and demanding more individualized schools, important schools. Places like Pleasant Ridge, we now have Montessori School, School for Creative and Performing Arts. Woodward now has a great technical program involving entrepreneurship, construction trades. Jim Klingman and some of his people doing a great job. We need unique schools that attract kids to stay in. In a school like Woodward right now, newly renovated, newly redone curriculum, you can get a degree such that you will then go to a 2 or 4 year college, but it will be in something that you're interested in.
Do we need to pass the levy?
Not this time. Maybe in March during the next election, not this time, because we need to say to CPS, you can't go from a balanced budget in 3 months to $79 million short. That is just total fiscal lack of accountability. Next time, not now.
All right, Justin.
Yes, I believe we need to invest in education and not in jails once again. We need to create job opportunities and job training opportunities, and that's why Michael Earl, Pat, and I came up with a comprehensive neighborhood rescue plan that allows city council or community councils to take back problem properties in their neighborhoods, to use people in those neighborhoods who need job training, who need job opportunities to get some skills so that they can eventually go on, start their own businesses. We believe that vocational training in Cincinnati Public Schools is an important part of doing this, and I asked you to go to my website, justinjeffrey.com, and take a look at our plan.
Okay. Now, we talk about we got to get these kids jobs and everything like that. Companies are moving out of town. How do we keep the companies here so there will be jobs available? Go ahead.
Well, there's several things, and just will be follow-up. One of the other things that Justin, Jeffrey, and I talk about is that city jobs should be going preferentially to people who actually live in the city, not people who live in this county or Kentucky or another county. As for people wanting to invest, I think there's a huge problem right now with the city giving special deals just to their friends and their favored. Who would go into like a card game if you knew that the dealer was like giving an extra card to just one or two other people in the card game? You wouldn't go into that. And that's what we have right now in Cincinnati. We have a very uneven playing field. No one wants to really come here and invest because they are afraid that their tax dollars will be going to their competitors.
All right, let's take a break and we'll come back with more questions right here on Lincoln We're Live. We're talking to some of the Cincinnati City candidates for Cincinnati City Council. We'll come back and take your calls, 513-381-3838. We'll take a quick break and we'll return to Lincoln We're Live right after these important messages. We're back live. Lincoln We're Live is the program, and we're just hearing some of the comments from city council candidates here in the studio with us live this morning. As a matter of fact, we'll rebroadcast of this show tonight at 8 o'clock on Channel 25. So if you didn't catch the whole show, you can see it all tonight on Channel 25 at 8 o'clock. All right, let's go back to the telephones. I believe we have Teresa with a question. Teresa, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Lincoln?
Pretty good.
My call. My question is, I hear all the candidates talking about providing jobs. I work with a lot of young mothers, and I hear them all talking about the jobs that are available to the young men in their lives all pay minimum wage. So, you know, the jobs that you guys are talking about bringing into the city, they need to pay more than minimum wage. In order to get the young men off the corner and out from behind the apartment buildings, they need to pay more than minimum wage. A young man cannot provide for his family on just minimum wage.
All right, that's a good question. Thanks for your call. Well, who wants to?
I'll start off with it. Basically, the minimum wage was just recently raised, but what we need to do is, and this kind of all goes circular with the original questions about crime, safety, and everyone hanging out on street corners, we need to have incentives for these people not to be hanging out on street corners. And the minimum wage, that's why we need to have these training programs put in place at the high school level and whatnot, where they learn a trade and they're able to make more than just the basic minimum wage. Then they can provide for their family, then they can provide for rent and food. So we need to do that, and it starts at the schools and builds its way up.
All right, Joan, let's hear from you.
Thank you. We have many fine companies in town that offer jobs beyond minimum wage. The people they employ need the experience and the education and the qualifications for those jobs. So it's a two-way street. Education is really critical to break the cycle. You have to have beyond a high school degree, high school certificate. There needs to be college. There needs to be additional skills. The jobs are there, and the opportunities for the training are there. It takes some personal responsibility and personal initiatives.
Wendell.
Well, Joan stole my thunder. I should have gotten the mic first. But it's true, and I'm working in a school now. So I'm able to see firsthand the results of people who don't take advantage of a free education.
So is it as bad as people say in the schools? You're right there in the trenches.
Well, I think it depends on, I think, what you're looking at. If you're working with at-risk youth, you can begin to think that hardly anybody wants an education. But the reality is, most of the children who go to CPS, if they want a good education, they can get one. I have seen some truly dedicated people who are working long hours to provide children with educations who want them. Some of the problem simply is we've got young people who come to school for anything other than an education. And it seems to be very, very difficult to get their families, to get them in line. Then those same people hit the streets and wonder why all they can find is a minimum wage job. It is a problem of making sure that people are educated and prepared to take advantage of the jobs that are out there. It's like Joan said, look in the newspaper today. There are excellent jobs that pay far more than minimum wage, but you've got to have people qualified to take those jobs.
Thank you. Let's go to Pat Fisher, then we'll go to Brian Gary. Pat.
Thank you, Lincoln. The biggest creator of jobs in Hamilton County are small businesses. The biggest community in Cincinnati that has lack of economic activity is the African American community, almost 50% of the population, only 4% of the businesses, and only 0.4% of the net tax revenues created. I'm working on task force with Steve Love, African American Chamber, to create a minority-owned and controlled bank to increase economic activity in the community. Had one about 20 years ago, failed for various reasons. What we're going to do this time is look for what's the best financial institution to build to increase that economic activity, and then build that institution instead of just creating a bank and then working in reverse. But we need to create jobs, and the biggest creator is small businesses, and that's where the business activity needs to go.
All right, Brian.
90% of our job growth does happen in small businesses, and we need to support our neighborhood businesses and our neighborhood business districts. I'm a small business owner myself, and that was an excellent question. And in 20 years, I've never started anyone at less than $10 an hour. We train people. We give them quality skills that they can go on and start their own businesses. Earlier, the lady talked about the entrepreneurs on the street. We do need to foster and provide more opportunities for entrepreneurship among young people. And we can do that by taking the funds that we currently subsidize huge corporate welfare and invest those in small businesses with tax and job creation tax incentives for small businesses and tax abatements for small businesses that are expanding.
All right, let's go take another call real quick. Renee. Renee, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty good.
My question is concerning the CityLink project. What will this project actually bring to a community that's already plagued by rapid drug abuse and high crime?
That's a good question. Thanks for your call. Who wants to tackle the city links? What will it do for the community? Actually, I guess you were saying, do we really need city links in the West End? Let's go to John. Well, go ahead, Justin. We'll take you, and then we'll go to Joan.
Well, Lincoln, I believe in community self-determination, and I think it's clear that the community in the West End and surrounding communities are not happy about CityLink coming into their neighborhood. I think obviously we want to have treatment programs that are there for people to deal with the drug addiction and all the problems, but I don't think that we can bring in a big mall into a community and force communities to take on all the problems of a much bigger community. So I think that there are other locations that should be looked at, but I think that communities should be respected and they shouldn't have things forced down their throats. They should have some input into what is going to come into their community, and they should have self-determination.
Anybody else want to tackle CityLink? Wendell? Joan, you want to tackle?
That's what I echo what Justin said. I think the concept of CityLink is great. It's kind of like a one-stop shop for almost any kind of social problem you have, and I think that's wonderful. But it is true, if a community doesn't want it, it shouldn't be forced to have it. It needs to go where people want it. It's like with issue 27 in the current jail. If you wanted to put a jail in my neighborhood, I'd say no. But we have a neighborhood that wants it, and where a neighborhood wants it, that makes it so much better. But you don't force neighborhoods to do things that they really don't want to do, because then what your program has to offer is overshadowed by people in the neighborhood who are not supportive, who will not be willing to take on the extra responsibility
Joan,
that comes with CityLink.
In Over the Rhine, because I work with the Over the Rhine Chamber of Commerce, we did a quick tally. There are 146 social agencies providing services to the residents of Over the Rhine. 106 of those are located in Over the Rhine. Most of those get just enough funding to pay their rent and their executive director, and there's very little funding left over for programming. Do we need additional nonprofit social services, or do we need to raise the benchmark of the agencies that we have to provide better, more targeted programming to the people who actually need the services? That's why I support the comprehensive safety plan, because it addresses the needs based on the quality of service and programming provided.
Okay, and we're just about out of time, but we'll start with you, Joan, since you have the mic. In 15 seconds, why should they vote for you this coming Tuesday? Can you tell us in 15 seconds?
Thank you. My experience has been with Downtown Cincinnati, Inc. for 3 years, with the Convention and Visitors Bureau for 6 years. I have worked with Jim Tarbell for 5 years. I live and serve in the Over the Rhine Chamber. I know how City Hall works, and I'm very confident that my education and experience will serve you very well.
Thank you. Thank you. Justin.
My name is Justin Jeffrey, and I'm publisher of the Cincinnati Beacon, and I believe that we need change in Cincinnati. We need to get our priorities straight. We need to put people first instead of big corporations that don't have any loyalty to our community. We need to create opportunities and jobs and education programs instead of taking opportunities away with bad public policy. The great divide in our community is not between the Democrats and Republicans, but between public opinion and public policy.
Thank you.
If you want to keep our pools open for our children, vote Brian Gary. If you want to keep our clinics open so that our sick children can go to a doctor, vote Brian Gary. If you want to build not just buildings but people's lives, vote Brian Gary. And if you want more economic development for our youth, vote Brian Gary, briangary.com.
All right, let's go to George.
On November 6th, I asked for your vote because I believe that I've had proven results through the Urbanist organization helping revitalize downtown and Over the Rhine, and also through the No Theater, where I've been focused on bringing people back to the community. We need to rebuild our communities, and if elected to City Council, I plan to help implement all the various plans we've discussed here today. It's not just about trying to get reelected, which I think the current council is doing. It's about putting the people first, and I'll put Cincinnati first. Thank you.
Wendell.
I have a long history of public service at the City of Cincinnati, Lincoln. People should vote for Wendell Young on November 6th to continue the fact that I am an individual who knows this city, who's worked in this city, who lives in this city, who's invested in this city, raised a family in this city. I understand our issues, and when I get to City Hall, I'll be able to work on those.
All right, thank you. Michael.
Michael Earl Patton. I'm an engineer, a longtime community volunteer and activist, small business owner. I read the documents for the jail. That's why I'm against it. I read the city ordinances. I'm not afraid to say no. If someone asks me for a special handout, I'm not afraid to say no and tell other people what had just happened.
All right, thank you. Pat.
Thank you, Lincoln. Vote for Pat Fisher because I am the one person running who's actually had to be president of a community council, who knows a neighborhood, who knows how to deal with crime in a neighborhood, who kept jobs in a neighborhood in Pleasant Ridge. Pleasant Ridge is booming right now, who can bring economic development to the minority community and has done something about each of those. I just don't talk about things, I do them. Vote Pat Fisher November 6th.
All right, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out this early on a Sunday morning, even though you had an extra hour to sleep this morning. But still, thank you for coming out. Don't forget, folks, Tuesday is Election Day. If anyone has said something that you like, go out and vote for them on Tuesday. Thank you for joining me this morning. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back. We've got Dale Mallory, and there's a bed bug problem here in the city of Cincinnati. And Dale Mallory wants to do something about it, and we'll tell you about something, an event that's coming up real soon, tomorrow, as a matter of fact. We'll talk about that when we come back. And we're back live, Lincoln, where live is the program. And my guest, Dale Mallory, State Representative Dale Mallory is here with us this morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Lincoln.
There's a big bed bug problem here in Cincinnati, and you're the one person that says we're going to do something about it. How serious is this bed bug problem?
Well, Lincoln, I met with the Council on Aging a few months ago, and they informed me that some of their health care providers were afraid to enter apartments because of the bed bug infestation. I found out since then that we're 5th in the nation with bed bugs. The state of Ohio is 5th in the nation.
Wow. And so And a lot of these apartment buildings seem to be the problems. I know Uptown Towers, I get some calls on my radio show. People were complaining, saying bed bugs all over the place. And what do you do? How do you get rid of it? You're having a big town hall meeting tomorrow. And what's going to take place at that town hall meeting?
Well, in August, on August 20th, we had a town hall meeting, and over 250 people showed. And the majority of them were affected by bed bugs. At this meeting, we plan to deal with solutions. There's a process to dealing with bed bugs. You can't just exterminate. You can't just squish them one by one. You have to clear clutter. You have to do a number of things.
Somebody said, I even heard you had to throw all your furniture away. Is that true? Or is that a myth?
And that's what people do. But who can afford to throw all their furniture? Yeah. Would you, clear your place, throw your furniture? If somebody else was buying, you probably would. But in this case, the bed bugs lay eggs in the cracks and crevices of furniture. So, either there should be a cleaning process, or yes, you would have to throw it away.
So you're going to have the solutions to how to get rid of them tomorrow at this town hall meeting at the Community Action Agency. It starts at what, 6:30?
Yes, 6:30 till 8:30. But what we've done since our meeting in August, Lincoln, was we formed a bed bug commission, and that consists of the panel that you'll see, and thank goodness you're going to join us tomorrow. Also, we have the bed bug task force, which consists of all the communities and people in the communities who are affected who want to come together and do something about it. But right now, I'm asking that all of our elected officials come together and help resolve this problem. From what we've been told, they say that the bed bug is not a health issue.
Okay, so I guess that explains why the health department really hasn't come out. Have they jumped on board with this? Because I don't think it's a health issue. So should they be involved at all?
Lincoln, anytime something bites you every night while you sleep and draws blood, it is a health issue. And they say that it's not on the books because we haven't dealt with this before. We haven't, I haven't seen a bed bug until now. My parents talk about it, but the health department, the city health department, the county health department has done a heck of a job. They'll do a PowerPoint presentation tomorrow. But they don't have jurisdiction in the city. And, those two entities aren't dealing with it the same way.
All right, we don't have much time, so we'll try to get to the phones. If you've got a question about bed bugs, you better call right away. Walter, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
Oh, how big are the bed bugs? Can you see them?
Yes, you can. Their bodies are about the size of, I don't know if you've ever seen a straight pin with a little rounded head on it.
Yes.
But we did an inspection, and I kind of smashed a bed bug with a back scratcher, and his body just exploded and blood just popped out. And
but
that
you
blood.
Can't see him. I always heard there was a myth that you couldn't see them, and I was just wanting the truth.
Not true.
You actually see them.
You can see them,
true.
And they bite.
A lady.
Well, I heard they bite. Yeah.
Hey, a lady brought bed bugs to the meeting. They were dead. They were in an envelope, but she brought bed bugs, and they were large.
Are they bigger than a flea?
Excuse me?
Are they bigger than a flea like a dog gets?
I would have to say about that size and a little bigger. Depends on how much they feed on you at nighttime.
Okay, I guess my girlfriend, and she stayed at I ain't going to name it, a motel,
Yes.
It was a name brand motel. It was like $70-some a night. I guess she's just going to get it in her head or something because she said she was itching or something. In 2 weeks, I didn't see nothing. I guess it's just, maybe she's just got it in her head that the place had bed bugs or something.
Wow. They find you at night as you sleep.
You have marks on your body, too, like you say. I didn't see any. Well,
yes.
Thanks for your help. I'll tell her that she's all clear then.
Yeah, well, tell her to come to our meeting.
All right, thanks for your call.
Right.
She's all clear from the bed.
But let me say this, Lincoln, and the last time we talked, we found out that bed bugs are everywhere. And I regret to inform everybody, bed bugs, we found are at the police station, at the firehouses, in the schools, on the metro buses, in apartment complexes. They travel through light switches and outlets.
So if a person has bed bugs and they come to visit you at your house, they can bring bed bugs with them?
Yes. One of the apartments that we toured as we left, one person had a bed bug on them, and we got it off of them, but we all inspected each other. But that's what happens. But what happens is people set bed bug furniture on the curb, and people take that furniture into their houses.
They think they're getting some good furniture without paying anything, and they're taking bed bugs into their house.
That's right. 2 weeks later, the bed bugs, the bed bug eggs hatch, and somebody said something about pesticides. You can spray for bed bugs and you'll kill them, but the second wave comes after the other eggs hatch.
Boy, I guess a lot of people have bed bugs out there. The phones are blowing up. Brenda, how are you?
I'm fine.
What's your question?
Well, my question is that
Well, I wanted to really know what I think could be done, because I've been having these bed bugs for about 3 months. I got rid of them once. My landlord won't help me do nothing about it. And it comes from my neighbors that they jumps into my door or whatever. I done almost lost my job. I've been off my job for about 2 months. Back behind rent, and they still won't do anything.
Why have you been off your job because of bed bugs?
Because I do custom-made drapery.
Uh-huh.
They jump off on me on the drapes.
Okay.
They get on the drapes, they go to the customers, and they got.
Then they complain. Okay.
And my boss he's very nice. He didn't fire me. He's working with me on this. But and I just want to know. I went down to the health department, and they said the same thing as the guy Mallory was talking about. I even went to Channel 19 News in the hallway crying because I don't have a job. I can't work. I can't pay rent because of these bed bugs. I'm alone by myself here in the house, and I'm.
Well, you need to come to this town hall meeting tomorrow.
Well, I want to know, what time is that meeting?
It's at 6:30 at the Community Action Agency at the corner of Reading Road and Langdon Farm.
That's right.
Okay, okay, Reading Road and Langdon Farm, right?
Yes.
The big new building there.
Yeah. That is up there in Jordan Crossing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
So you need to come up there tomorrow because they may have some solutions for you.
I hope so, because I need that. You know, my landlord wants to help. He tried to help me, but he don't. Come in with a little can of spray and spray around, and that's it.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to work.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for your call.
And that was, Lincoln, that was a major part of the problem. Tenants were saying, hey, we got bed bugs.
But the landlord's not doing anything.
Landlord needs to take care of it. But I talked to the apartment association, and what they said was some of the tenants do not cooperate. You cannot have a cluttered house. You cannot have a filthy house and think that you can rid yourself of bed bugs. You have to clear all the clutter. You have to wash your clothing in 120-degree water. So the clothing that you bag up and take with you as you move could be infested. Yeah. This is an epidemic. It is not just a bug. It's not like a mosquito. We're forced to be inside now with the cold weather, so they will eat some people alive. But this is an epidemic, and we need to resolve it.
And you can live in Indian Hill or in Over the Rhine and still have bed bugs.
Yes, and what we determined was, it's a two-way street. For one, the landlord is partly responsible. But the tenant is responsible. So we want to kind of meet in the middle, and that means, and the apartment association said, okay, that's fine. If a landlord's not dealing with it, maybe a renter can put their rent in escrow and not pay your rent until the problem's resolved. But on that same note, the resident has to comply and has to clear out the furniture and the clutter. But on that other same note, the landlord cannot say you need to get rid of your furniture and do all these. It's a mess, Lincoln, and that's why we're having these town hall meetings. We're committed to solving the problem.
All right, where am I going? Who's next in line here? That's Claudette. How are you, Claudette? Good morning.
Good morning, Lincoln, and thanks for taking my call. Good morning to you, State Representative Dale Mallory.
Hi, Claudette.
My question is there any type of funds out there to aid in being able to go in and help the senior citizens be able to get their clutter away? And meaning, is there some type of funds where you can get a staff that can go in and aid the? That's what my concern is, to help them get the clutter away and to help them get rid of their bed bugs.
I'm glad she asked that question, and that is what I'm seeking. I'm seeking state money, county money, city money, because there are two things here. For one, we need to assist the landlords and the residents to resolve this problem. And another thing is, I feel that, and people are talking about employment, I feel that this can create employment. We can create a service that can help deal with this problem and make it easy on everybody. It is time for us to take care of our constituents.
Now, will you have any exterminators there?
We will have exterminators. We will have so many people who know how to deal with these problems. People talked about steam. They talked about mattress covers. We need to do everything that we can. So we will have so many experts there.
Once again, that's tomorrow, 6:30, the Community Action Agency right there on the corner of Reading Road and Langdon Farm. If you've got a bed bug problem, you need to show up tomorrow at 6:30. They'll have people there who can help you and steer you in the right direction as to how to get rid of those bed bugs.
And we're committed to it, Lincoln. We plan to resolve this problem once and for all.
All right, coming up at noon, To Die to Sleep right here, a rebroadcast of this show tonight at 8 o'clock. If you know someone with bed bugs, you better tell them to tune in tonight at 8 on Channel 25. Join me Monday through Friday from 10 till 1 on 1230, The Buzz of Cincinnati. That's going to just about wrap it up for me here. Dale Mallory, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, Lincoln. I appreciate it.
Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at the big town hall meeting. We'll see you next week right here.